Hello and welcome back to the last part of Object Check. In this part I'm going to show you how to do everything at the same time. I explained in the other parts, in other little videos, how to do only the dynamic and how to do only the slurs and only the node spacing, but in this video I want to show you how I do everything at the same time. And the way I do it is I just put my zoom about 170 and I just start at the beginning and go through the whole score. I did already the pagination, which means I divided already the staves, the systems nicely on the full pages, as you can see. Although it's not spaced out correctly yet, but that's something I do afterwards again. So all the pages are full, and that's one of the conditions you have to fulfill. Especially the last page has to be filled completely, so not only 3 systems or something. So that's always one of my goals. So let's start from the beginning, and whatever we have to fix, we fix. So mostly this is still a mess, and I'm not paying so much attention to the fact that I have stuff like this, for example. I'm still going to respace it afterwards. So in this case I have a piece for piano and trumpet, and whatever I see happening I'm going to fix. So in this case the dynamics, I'm outlining them with my shortcut, keyboard shortcut. Zoom in to have a better view. So, and if you watch the other videos you probably know what I'm trying to do here. So mostly there's not so much talking, probably, but more just doing things. So I hope this will help you a little bit. You have to be aware that the dynamics are expression text and the dynamics are always attached to the right hand in the right hand staff in the piano part. So little thing is this. I take off the magnetic layout so it doesn't jump on so weird, and I just space it out. One thing I don't like, I'm not sure why that is, but if I select a dynamic text and an expression text and a dynamic, and I align them in a row, which I have a shortcut for, keyboard shortcut. And you should know it's like align in a row. This is my keyboard shortcut. They're not really aligned in a row, but I think it's probably because I'm not sure what this is here for fondu. So if I place it here, I have to check the source score later. I don't have the source score, so I'm not sure what to do with this one. But I'm going to check later. Oh yeah, well, what I wanted to say actually, I wonder why this is never really aligned correctly. If I would do it like this, how are they aligned, I wonder. So this is not really centered, this goes. Well, that's probably one of the Sibelius settings. I have not found a setting yet that can align them in a different way vertically, those two. The text and the dynamics. So but for this, let's have a look here. If we see anything strange, we're going to fix it here. So I think I should talk less and do more actually. So what I'm looking for is, for example, I think that's a little bit close here. So I'm selecting all of them. I think this is expression text. So I could also do it just for the expression text filter. So like this, I like it better. And as you can see, mostly it's dynamic. So I have a dynamic shortcut on my keyboard, and then I hit Command Shift R, which is my shortcut for align in a row for whatever I select. So this is nicely like this. We'll align out these ones with the last character under the note, and I'm looking for the way slurs are connected I'm looking for like this, for example. This doesn't look correct, so let's see how can we do this the best. Mostly the slurs has to go under the on the side of the node head, but then on the other side you see this happening. And then it's just a matter of trying it out. Shall I flip the node to make it better, or I just accept the fact that there's no other solution and just do it like this. But then at least I want to create a little bow here. This is a little bit lower because I don't want it to have exactly on the top. And mostly you can do this by selecting it and take off the magnetic layout off, and then you have more freedom to move the slur up and down. So this is correct here now. Let's go to the piano part. Let's center this as well. I'll show you it. I have to check this later with the source code, this text line. Okay, more expression text. Align in a row. And pull it down. And this is a little hidden arpeggio. I take off the magnetic layout. Do it here. Magnetic layout off, and then it jumps nicely back, and I can position it much easier. So this is a mess here. Why is this the G flat becomes? Yeah, there's not much we can do actually, but I can space it out a little bit, give it a little bit more space. I'm thinking about something else also, because the officially notation goes mostly something like this, traditional notation, I think, although it looks really weird. So let's reset this. Sometimes you have to improvise a little bit more. Yes, this one here. We select the hairpins and do align in a row. So, and then I just position it in the middle. Mostly what I do, because just selecting all the dynamics at once, as I told you before, I have selected the expression text and the hairpins, and if I align them in a row, it's not how I like it. So most of the time I just take only the dynamics, align them, and after that only the expression text, align them, and then I just select them, center them like this a little bit. Okay, let's do it here. This is a little bit lower. Okay. This is a little bit too close here. Especially when there's so many accidentals on one spot. I like to take them off a little bit. And this is actually the left hand, so I could also place these on the left hand stave, but I think I better stick with the original engraving. Yeah, and this word here, I don't know, I go to an expression text mode and taking the original pedal, which you cannot see there. If we go in expression text mode from here, right mouse click, and I have the original text alpha pedal, and I like that much more, so we can do it like this. So you know it's also the same here. So let's line these up a little bit. Take off the magnetic layout. So, and then line them out, align in a row, and then with the key command with the key commands I pull them a little bit down. I'm really having I'm in my habit to use keyboard shortcuts all the time, but for now I will just try to use the menus as much as possible, so you can see what I'm doing. So here also, for example, I want to do align in a row the dynamics. And normally I use my keyboard shortcut, it's on a function key 9, but I can also, of course, edit, filter, and then have expression text. So it's the same a little bit, although no, it only selects the text itself. Yeah, so I can align them out, align in a row, and I can pull them down. And I keep an eye, when I'm doing this, I'm keeping an eye on how far do I need to go to, so I get everything under in one system a little bit in the same line horizontally. So let's try it like this. We can always change later, and then I can do the same. Now I want to select the hairpins to line them up, so I go to filter and I go to dynamics, because this is only, well, this should be only, apparently not. Well, let's see something. Okay, let's do it like this then. Okay, and now we're doing then layout align in a row for the hairpins, and we with the arrow keys down so they select nicely, center nicely in the middle between the expression text. This one do a little bit lower. And now the nice thing is that I can just select all again with my keyboard shortcut. I wanted to say, but let's do filter and dynamics. I should have everything. And this one doesn't get selected because it's from the previous system, I think. So now all my dynamics are selected, and now with the keyboard shortcut, the arrows, I pull everything a little bit higher. So, okay, that's the dynamics. And mostly it's the dynamics that you have to worry about the most. A little bit slower here, this a little bit lower. This looks good. This is a little mess again, so with my command arrow key left, I'll position them a little bit to the left. Let's start with the dynamics here also again first. So dynamics, filter, dynamics. I do a layout, align in a row, and then I pull everything down until the moment I'm under this lowest part here. So, and then I can unselect these ones, keeping command key down, and then just click on it, and then I pull this others up a little bit because there's a big difference in vertical space here. And these ones I always like to center them with the last character of the dynamic. So here as far as possible. Let's pull this a little bit down so we can see how it looks like till now. And because there's such a big difference in horizontal lineup from the dynamics here, you can always put, for example, this one a little bit higher, a little bit higher. So yeah, there's not so much what you can do really. Sometimes it's just like this. Okay, we leave it like this. Let's check the voices. This is okay. This is a little bit close, so I select to fix it. I want to have a little bit more space here, so I select one of the notes. I use my command key combination with the right arrow key on the keyboard, and I give it a couple of spaces to the right. So this looks better. This looks a little bit weird. It is possible that it is misformed after a while. I do so many respacing at some point, things start to look really weird. So sometimes it's just the best to delete the slur and then make a new one. See where this come from. Slur, and then I think probably come from here. So I reposition it a little bit with the arrow keys. Yeah, the same here. Make a little bit more space with the command right arrow key. Here's a little arpeggio. And the problem is now I cannot see if it has to go all the way up here or if it is only this here, because I don't have a source score. So let's just keep it here for now and take off the magnetic layout off, and then just reposition it like this for now with the arrow keys. And again with command key in combination with the arrow keys, and move things around. So this also command key, arrow key left. Wait, there you go. Wait, a little bit too much. So, and this looks okay. Okay, this is probably expression text, the pedals. So now I take off. I want to center them now, of the line them up. So I take off the magnetic layout off. I use layout, align in a row, and I can drag them a little bit lower. And again, this one, the pedal, I want to take this off. I want this the textile. So I select one of the nodes and go to take an expression, Command E for expression textile mode, and I choose the pedal from the expression menu. So all these things they should be clear to you actually. So there shouldn't be anything new that I'm showing you here. Take off the magnetic layout off. But I just wanted to show you a little bit how I do all these things that I showed you in a separate video, how I do this at once. Because that's mostly how you work. You don't work section by section. Okay, perfect. And don't forget to save. I save a lot. It's a reflex save. So go to the next page. Let's see how far we come with if I would do the whole piece in this video. I select the staff. This is also a double click, sorry, to select the whole staff, and then filter dynamics, and then I layout align in a row, and there you go. And you can see that it's not really aligned in a row. I would like to have it centered, so like this, but for some reason I didn't find the correct setting for this yet. It must be somewhere in, I don't know, magnetic layout settings. Maybe I can give it another try. Here's a little arpeggio start, magnetic layout off from the arpeggio, and pull it up a little bit. I start to think really that this should be including the left hand. Only 2 notes for an arpeggio is a little bit too little. So again, Command arrow key left, and line it out a little bit. So let's grave it. It should be a tempo text, a grave. So, and because it's a tempo indication, I like to keep it in tempo text style also. Let's see if we can fix it like this. Opening the property window, keep this selected and choose tempo text from here. Where's the tempo text? No, it doesn't take it. So what I do, I just delete it here. I delete this one, I create a new tempo, create text and tempo, and it automatically goes here. Of course, let's try it again. Create text, tempo, and we choose grave. There you go. This is how it should be. So close this one. Yes, let's start again with the dynamics. Select the whole system. We go to Edit, Filter, Dynamics, and then we select Layout, align in a row, and drag it until it's this one. Okay, I want to have this a little bit higher actually. It takes a lot of space, and I'm thinking also this should actually be in an autoclave because it takes so many legal lines here. Why not just do it like this? Look, makes life so much easier. Okay, let's make a little bit more space for the dynamics again, and I select the expression text both, and I drag them down a little bit so they center nicely with the hairpins. So I like to line up the last character of this dynamic expression text with the note. So as you can see, it's layout editing. And this is, of course, this looks really weird, so we have to flip this note, select this one, and we notes in a way edit and flip, or the shortcut X on the keyboard. That goes. And this looks weird somehow. Why is that? This is the first voice, and this one I like to have it half stem, not on top of the half stem, so I drag it a little bit down. And this one, let's see, this looks a little bit weird. Let's delete the slur and create a new one. Now see why this is why it looks weird, because it starts on the second voice and it wants to slur to a first voice note, and that doesn't work correctly. But what can we do here? Well, let's just make a normal slur. We flip it, and when you take off the magnetic layout of the slur in this case, you have mostly the freedom to position it. But the problem is always later on when you it doesn't want. Later on when you want to when you're respacing things, it becomes a mess again. Although I think actually, what can I do here? Well, another solution would be, this is first voice, this is first. So I create a slur from here, and I just pull this one from here back a little bit. Ah, it's not so bad. A little bit up, not so bad. Okay, this looks okay to me. Okay, pull up this staff a little bit. And later I'm going to do a respacing later on, and that will not destroy. So I'm going to do a optimize staff spacing later on, and that will not destroy all these dynamic settings that we did now. But what you should avoid after this object check phase is reset position or reset node spacing. Don't do those things anymore. So only reposition, only optimize staff spacing. So let's make a more space so we can see what's going on. I select the pedals now with filter expression text, and it was not correct, so we tried it again. Or maybe it should be an expression text actually. Or do we have a pedal? Here, pedal lines. Yes, pedal lines. I take off the magnetic layout. I do a layout, a line in a row, and I pull everything a little bit down with my arrow keys. There you go. That's nicer. Let's see what's going on here. This looks okay to me. Also, this is a little bit strange, the beaming. But I think I'll leave it like that. The person who engraved this score probably took it literally like that from the source score. So let's take up this a little bit higher, because I want to have half stem. Whenever it's connected to a stem, a slur, I want to have half stem. I don't like it completely on the top of it. A little bit more space here, so it doesn't connect to this point. Okay, a little bit. This also, now it's connected here, I want to have a half stem. No, turn off the expression magnetic layout so I have more space, and it jumps already down. Good. Perfect. So there are things we look at the slurs, at the node spacing, at the expression, a line in a row, and we pull them up a little bit. Okay, let's take the left hand. Let's see. Sometimes it's, especially with what's happening here. Three voices. Why is that? Why is that? That's again the problem. I don't have a source code. Otherwise, I could check if this is supposed to be like this. And if the thing is, I cannot even see if these are wrong notes. That's the problem. This apparently goes there. Yes. There seems to be an F. Yeah, F connected with a tie and an E flat under it. Now the thing is, to make this better visible, you cannot use the arrow keys for this. You cannot drag it like this. So what you have to do here, you have to open property window. And in the property window you can, let's see, where is this? In the general tab, I think. Keep this selected. And let's see. No. Keep this one selected, and then there you go. We can turn this out to the side a little bit. And I think if you do a reset node spacing, then it will go back. So that's again a reason, after you finish this part of the layout, don't do a reset position or reset node spacing or even reset design. All those things should be clear now. By now, when you start to do an object check, you can take this up a little bit. Just a little bit more space. Let's see. So let's create a little bit more space here. I like to have my triplets a little bit closer to the beams. This also, for example, just floats in the air somehow. Yes, it's okay. Oh wait, yeah. Let's line up these two. Layout, align in a row. Was good already. Place them a little bit closer to the staff. And I centered this one with the node with the last here. Okay, this is too close. Okay, like this. And in this kind of case, I like to have the dynamic really, an instrument would play it. So in this case, this is a trumpet, so I can play some a decrescendo hairpin on a single note. But if it would be a piano, then there is no point. And still, you see it sometimes notated for a piano, also like that. Again, here let's take this one down a little bit. This one down. Okay, let's create a little bit more space so we can see the dynamics. Select dynamics, filter, and layout, align in a row, and we pull everything down. This looks really weird here. I think it's just expressive. I'll take out. I'm not even sure if this should be here, but maybe I can just create a little bit clearness here to put above the staff. Let's see. Put this a little bit lower. Okay. And this is nicely outlined already. So as you can see, this is again not really centered with the hairpins, and I really like to have a center with the hairpins. So I just a couple of spaces down. And now I select all the dynamics and I pull everything up. So, okay, let's see how it looks like when I the lower staff a little bit higher, the left hand staff a little bit higher. Aye. That's always a problem. Let's see the notes here. This looks okay to me. This looks okay to me. Yes, perfect. Okay, well, I think this is actually enough to show you how I work. Talking and doing doesn't go together. So let's finish this system here. Filter dynamics, and then layout, align a row. I think this is enough to show you exactly how I do this object check part, because it's pretty much the only thing. Mostly it's dynamic, as you can see, expression, text that you work on, and you fix some slurs. A slur mostly goes from the node head to node head, and this would be the ideal way. Actually, this we can still do it. You can work with the slurs, or you can just flip one of the notes. And till the C, I still like to flip the note. Let's see what else. Yeah, and this is a little bit weird. This is a note, an E flat tied to another E flat, and then a slur to a D. But officially it should be this. You go to the first note that is tied, and you end up after that. So this is a correct way of notating it. Let's see this last part here. I'm not sure why. The horse, I always think about a horse. Oh, of course. That's why. Let's do this last part. I select again the dynamics. I do a layout, align in a row, and I pull everything down like this. This a little bit lower, so it is nicely centered, and this one as well. This one a little bit left, this one is okay. Let's create a little bit more space here. No. It's not what I wanted, I think it's all. Why is this? And we place this. An arpeggio, then we take off the magnetic layout off and we stretch this nicely. So let's see what else. Yes, this is correct. Well, this should be the upper voice, so this one has to be flipped up. This goes a little bit higher. So that's better. Half stem slur. And I'm not sure what this slur really wants here. Is this a mistake, or why is here a slur? This is such a problem when you don't have a source score. I'm going to select all the dynamics because they can be pulled a little bit higher. So, and we pull this up. Let's see, do I need to fix something here? Yeah, this should be, well, this goes still here, and then this is normal. First voice again. So the only thing I want to do is the pedal lines. Oh no, it goes here. So we leave this on this position here. Well, okay, this is how I would go through the whole score, fixing it little by little, and as you can see, there's still a lot of fix. But most of the other things that has to be fixed still have to do with after this dynamic object check, has to do with staff spacing. But I can show you what I would do afterwards. So, for example, let's say everything is, all the objects are checked now. Now I would select everything. I lock my whole score just to be case, and I do an optimize staff spacing. And there you go. Everything's now Sibelius take advantage of the extra space I created by replacing all the dynamics. So again, it's spaced much better now. And mostly what you still have, you will see that, okay, after that you still have to do a little bit more center of the expression text, but it's, yeah, the final parts. This looks a little bit weird here. Yeah, it's you do one step forward and one step backwards and one step forwards. It's a little bit my system. You could, for example, this could go a little bit lower now. It's also a nice thing if you look at it of a different zoom level, you see things that you would not see otherwise. So that's also a good idea to change the zoom level sometimes. Okay, and this can go a little bit lower now. And there you are. So this is really the whole thing I do in this part of the engraving. A lot to do still, but I hope this helped you a little bit. Just of an overview on how I start from beginning till the end, with only doing the thing that I showed you in a separate chapters on object check. Okay, thank you very much, and see you in the next tutorial.